Hello, my jumping Jubilee jellyfish. It is I, your magnificent, marvellous host, Mika Bobika, coming to you on a Sunday, the 17th of May, 2026. Now, you may be wondering, wow, Mika and not Slick Kicks? This question may be getting very, very old to you, but fear not, for I am only here for 2 days this week. Wait, hold on, 2 days? Wow, 2 whole days. Well, hey, at least you have to be interrupted by Feral and Slick at least 1 day each, so you won't have too much of me, though just about enough of me where you get used to me, but not enough where you get annoyed by me. But with that being said, I've had a wonderful day today, a brilliant 17th, and a, of course, lovely 16th of May, which happened to be my birthday. So, I am now 19, not 18. Don't worry, I'm very mature now. But ramblings and rantings aside, I think it's time to hit the theme song, or as I like to call it, that beat. Then, my leaping little lemurs, Janet Jackson's birthday starts off today's first headline. Now, today is Janet Jackson's birthday. You may be wondering, who is that? Well, Janet Jackson is an influential music pop star, notably the sister of pop star Michael Jackson. She turns 60 years old today, not 16, but 60, and is being acknowledged by many as influential in the music industry with her fashion, her awesome songs, and her iconic stage presence. What's your favourite Janet Jackson song? See, I personally actually didn't know that Janet Jackson made music, but good on her. Leave down below in the comments what is your favourite Janet Jackson song, and while you're down there, please like and subscribe to keep this channel going. So anyways, thank you very much for listening to that bit of news. Now we should be moving on. Well then, folk and folkettes, it seems that we have an amazing lineup for you today. We have a round of Feral's factoids. Now grab out your notepads, your journals, and your pens, and of course start taking some notes, because Feral is going to spew facts at you at a nice, slow, steady pace. So keep your ears open and your eyes peeled. You may never know what may burn your retinas.
Hello, welcome to Feral's Factoids. I'm your host Feral, and welcome to the show. Make sure to grab out your pen and paper to take notes. Today's episode is about Chernobyl. First up, what is Chernobyl? Chernobyl was the site of the worst nuclear power plant accident in history. It happened on the night of April 26, 1986, during a safety test at Reactor Unit 4. Did you know that the reactor explosion and the fires that followed sent a massive cloud of radioactive material high into the atmosphere? It spread contamination across large parts of Europe. Reactor 4 was essentially destroyed in the blast. The plant's remaining reactors were damaged, taken offline, and gradually shut down in the years after the disaster. Did you know that about 31 people died within weeks of the accident? Most plant workers and emergency responders who were exposed to very high doses of radiation while fighting fires and stabilizing the site. In the immediate aftermath, thousands more people suffered from acute radiation sickness and other radiation-related illnesses. This required urgent medical care. Did you know that the Soviet government initially downplayed and delayed reporting the scale of the incident, which slowed evacuations and complicated international response efforts? In 1986, more than 100,000 people were evacuated from the most contaminated towns and villages. Whole communities were permanently relocated and never returned to. A 30-kilometer exclusion zone was established around the plant to restrict access and reduce further human exposure. This zone remains in place and residency is prohibited for most people. Initially, the damaged reactor was enclosed in a hastily built concrete sarcophagus to contain radiation. That structure later has shown deterioration and has needed a more durable solution, which they are in the progress of building now. Another fun fact is that radioactive fallout contaminated soil, forests, rivers, and farmland, disrupting agriculture and making many areas unsafe for food production for decades. Despite contamination, wildlife has returned to the exclusion zone in large numbers. Some species are thriving due to the absence of people, though radiation still affects individual animals and ecosystems. Did you know that long-term health impacts include increased rates of thyroid cancer, especially among children exposed to the radioactive iodine, along with other potential cancer risks and psychological effects on affected populations from the Chernobyl disaster? And last, but certainly not least, Chernobyl profoundly changed international approaches to nuclear safety, emergency response, and transparency, serving as a lasting warning about the risks of nuclear power without strict safety and oversight. Well, that is all of our time for today, and now it is time to put down our notes. Thank you so much for listening to the next episode of Farrell's Factoids, and tune in next Sunday for even more fun facts. And now, back to you, Mika.
Well then, Farrell, if I didn't know much about Chernobyl then, I guess I do know a lot about Chernobyl now, and nuclear waste and safety precautions and large radioactive clouds. Thank you very much, Farrell, for informing us and keeping us well written. Of course, I have my notes. I don't know about you lot, but I love taking notes down in class, and that was more of a lecture. So once again, thank you very much to our lovely Farrell. Please do support them in the comment section below. And with that being said, we'll be moving on to the next little bit of our show. The 17th of May. That marks an event known as National Graduation Tassel Day. Today, on the 17th of May, marks National Graduation Tassel Day, according to daysoftheyear.com. This day highlights a seemingly not important accessory, but it actually holds a lot more significance than you think. The hanging tassel on graduation cap holds so much symbolism for graduates, as it celebrates the hard-earned accomplishments and the hard work these graduates have overcome, the obstacles, the hardships, the positives, the negatives. It holds so much value and represents that important moment that a student becomes a graduate. A direct quote from the website itself: "A big congratulations to all graduates and future graduates. You will have worked so hard, and we from Studio 426 or 426 would like to wish you well on your future endeavours for post-secondary education." Wow. That's a great day. Graduation Tassel Day. Such a symbolic day, despite the fact of its strange naming scheme. Well, thank you very much to our journalist who grabbed that, and daysoftheyear.com for providing that information. Now then, a little further on with our show we shall get. I don't know if you just heard that, dear listeners, but it seems that our show has grinded to a halt for Showstopper Sunday. Now, for the music industry side of things, Drake has surprised the music industry along with his fans that he has dropped 3 new projects. His new album, Iceman, along with the companion albums Habibti and Maid of Honor. He's delivered many songs with these albums, along with the collabs with artists including Party Next Door, Central C, and many more. He was able to break many Spotify records in a day with these releases, including the biggest first-day album premiere of 2026. That's pretty impressive, Drake, but you need to give me your secrets and Studio 426 so we can make it on Spotify. But anyways, entertainment industry. Michael Jackson's rest in peace Michael Jackson, biopic Michael, featuring his nephew Jafar Jackson, honouring him and playing him in the movie, has now reached $621 million worldwide after its premiere. The movie follows the life of Michael, his early career in the Jackson 5, and his rise to fame and stardom, how iconic his legacy was, and the influence it left afterwards on the world. A fun fact about Michael Jackson is that he played a character in The Simpsons. He was a big fan of the show, so naturally getting featured was a must. If you're interested in watching that awesomely portrayed biopic, check out the showtimes at your local theatre, and maybe Penelope may reveal it in her segment. Wink wink, hint hint, nudge nudge. But with that being said, shall we continue on and actually put our show back on the grinding pace? The beloved second headline. From one block of knowledge to the next, we have word that the hantavirus, the next outbreak. For those who do not know, the hantavirus has been going viral, both on social media and infectiously. It is a virus that is typically rodents, and is spreadable to humans, though rest assured it is not easily spreadable like COVID was. But it is important to take precautions, of course, such as washing hands, covering your mouth, when you cough or sneeze to avoid spreading those wet germs, and practicing basic hygiene skills. On a funnier note, to ease the tension of the situation, the media has been making the joke that the hentai virus, a play on the virus's name again. For now, we can say it does not pose a huge threat, as spreading is not as easy as COVID. However, the symptoms should be taken very seriously. Okay, cool. That's good to know. So it's not as bad or as infectious as COVID, but the symptoms are much worse. Well, we should bring that up to a higher note with the next part of the show. We really should be opening a door to the tea shack. Well, it's not actually a tea shack anymore, it's just a little secluded part of the Studio 426 office, but let Sprout pretend that it's a tea shack with its mystifying energy and a campfire that seemingly never goes out, that's fueled by paper that Slick hands him, and also seemingly pencils that never seem to quite crumble. But anyways, give it up for Sprout for McElliott Sproutinson. Welcome, one and all, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and those behind and beyond the misty veil of I need to stop doing that. We are not in Riff-Off anymore. Okay then, well, hello everybody, I am your wonderful, elegant host, Sproutifer McElliott Sproutinson, back here to serve you some wonderful, delicious cups of tea, brews if you will, and of course, I have the most delectable brands here. I mean, we have some PG tips, we have some wonderful English breakfast tea, which isn't a brand, but it is a brew I like. But with that all out of the way, and of course taken care of, we shall be getting on to the actual gossip, and why you're even tuning into this segment. Starting off, we have word that a friend of the podcast, and of course ex-segment holder Parallaxis the Frog, has been spotted around the studio, strumming tunes miserably as he comes to terms with the fact that his segment no longer exists, or was even brought through the beta trial of Studio 426. It is said even after he was escorted out of the esteemed studio, you could hear his sad and stressed strumming, even echoing and wailing on to this day. Maybe it's his ghost, or maybe it's just the spirit of his dreams which had once passed. In other brews, dear listeners, we had a little birdie, which happened to not be Stolus this time, inform me that Ash from Ash and Avery's Microdramas, and also Ash's junk drawer, has been spotted pulling out random and mysterious objects from their junk drawer. First of all, it was a rubber chicken, which, well, you'd obviously expect to be making the silliest of noises, but it weirdly started making a blowhorn sound. Next of all, they pulled out an umbrella, which started spraying tea from it, which they ever so kindly offered to me. And last of all, they seemed to pull out a buzzer, a small red button which just seemed to vibrate, not make any sound, but vibrate ever so subtly. Now, this has been deemed as strange, and the drawer has been taped off and deemed a safety hazard. So before Ash comes over and tells me to shut my mouth, or attempts to, well, silence me, we shall be ending today's segment, and leaving you all with the advice of, when we die, we rot, and of course, you are no different. I have been your host, Sproutifer McElliott Sproutinson. I hope to see you in my humble tea shack next time. Bye-bye for now. Well then, as the kettle simmers down and we finally can hear ourselves think, we should be thanking Sprout very much for that segment, despite the fact that apparently Para is now haunting the offices and Ash may be coming to kill Sprout. We should be thanking him very much for bringing that information to light and moving on with the show. Or at least I think we should, or should we be trying to call the Ghostbusters? Either way. Thank you very much, Sprout, nonetheless. Well then, my little weasels, we have been Studio 426. Now, yes, I know it's only Mika from Studio 426, but nonetheless a lot of things go into the effort of this production, such as the journalists, those behind the scenes who gently give me a slap on the wrist if I make an issue. We also have me, who's the actual voice behind this. We have a lot of people who put up the episodes and marketing and etc. So we'd like to give a second to just thank those people. But Nonetheless, I have been your magnificent, marvelous host, Mika Bobika. Thank you very much for watching the Sunday episode, aka May 17th. I wish you adieu and goodbye.